A new US intelligence assessment says China will continue to apply strong coercive tactics against Taiwan this year. The report from the Office of the Director of National Intelligence says China will use both military and economic pressure against Taiwan to further its goal of unification. The annual assessment was released ahead of a Senate intelligence hearing on Tuesday. The report also says China's military is making steady but uneven progress in its ability to take Taiwan by force. To learn more about how the US views China's plans for Taiwan, our reporter Aadil Brar spoke to Ping-Kuei Chen from National Chengchi University in Taipei.
US intelligence is reporting China might put pressure on Taiwan in 2025 to push for unification. What kind of pressure do you think China might use?
I do not think that China will use any new technique. China has been consistently impose diplomatic and economic pressure on Taiwan. But one thing I do think that will not happen is that I do not think China will use economic sanctions more often this year because China has tried and didn't work as it expected. So I do not think China will expand economic sanctions on Taiwan's products to mainland China. I think it's mostly the show of force against Taiwan to intimidate Taiwanese people.
So, if China doesn't use sanctions, what other kind of tactics might China use to put pressure on Taiwan?
I think China has tried many economic coercion against Taiwan, and so far they are not so effective as China expected. So I do not think China would rely on those tactics anymore. I do think that China would try to use its own economic power to attract ordinary Taiwanese to show that Taiwan a unification with China is will have a better economic prosperity and in the future for Chinese people.
The report says China is boosting its military capabilities, though not all areas are progressing at the same pace. What specific military tactics do you think the US is referring to?
We have heard about this few years ago that China is building large, long barges that can be one of the equipment that is necessary to invade Taiwan because there are many rivers in Taiwan from the east to the west, and to cross those rivers, those are important transportation points. So, during war, those bridges can be sabotaged. So you need to build temporary bridges, and those barges are for those purposes. So I think China is definitely trying to be prepared